chillin', ready and willing. Nigga, I'm eating. Happy Thanksgiving. Walking on the ceiling with my running shoes on. Life is too short, my money too long. Coming to my zone, I'ma do you wrong. Life is an adventure, Indiana Jones. She a bad bitch, I give a dog a bone. My name is Weezy, baby, not Sylvester Stallone. And that's word to my drummer, word to my drummer.
Hey guys, MikeDecIsHere, bringing you my second legitimate Wi-Fi battle. So I'm once again using that Sun team I used last game. This time I'm playing Darth Chocoboz. I believe I spelled that right. His link will be in the video description. So yeah. Anyway, I didn't leave a lot of time in between his team and when I started the video, so I'm just gonna explain it real quick. It's pretty much a UU team with one OU, which is Dragonite. And looking at it, I basically see that there's a few threats. One is obviously the Dragonite, because I don't have any ice attacks except for Quagsire and Starmie, but it's still pretty threatening. And the second one is Zoroark, who is very underrated, but it can be very, very threatening. So let's get started. So I start off with my Demon Fox, as he brings in his Locomotive, which is his Duskmar. At this point, I'm not sure if it's the Zoroark or not, so I'm going to set up a sub. I don't know if Zoroark can do abilities, but the pressure made me believe that was actually his Duskmar. So I sub up to see what he wants to do, and he uses Pain Split. I was actually predicting a status move, but it doesn't matter. So I just take this time to burn him. And I see that even though he burns me, the Earthquake still breaks my sub. So I don't want to switch yet. I still want to scout what he wants to do because I'm afraid this thing is toxic, and I could really cripple me. I set up a sub, he tries to Pain Split again. So at this point, I decide to Flamethrower and see how much it does. And for no EVs and special attack, it does a good amount. Not really what I want, but I think I can take this thing out. I'm not really too worried because at this point in time, I don't think he has another Weather User. So at this point, I'm predicting him to think I'm going to use the sub. So I Flamethrower, which works out perfectly because he Earthquakes. At this point, I know Burn's not going to kill, but I want to set up a sub in case he decides to Pain Split because he is at very low health, and that would be an interesting play to do. But he just makes a safe play in Earthquakes. And in the long run, that sub might have been a pretty big factor. But as of right now, I probably think that was the right play. At this point in time, I'm not going to set up another sub. It's just going to put me at lower health, so I'm just going to take it out with the Flamethrower. At this point, he brings out his Float Soul. I don't know if a Waterfall at that health would have killed me, but I should have risked it. I should have tried to burn this thing. But now he sets up Rain. And I'm thinking maybe he's going to switch out, so I double switch into Blissey. And he just goes for the Waterfall, which was a really interesting play, because if I stayed in Seed Bomb, that thing would be dead. But whatever, it was a good move on his part. So I bring in Ninetales now just to bring out the Sun and threaten with Venusaur. And yeah, he just goes for the Waterfall. He gets a crit here. I don't know if that mattered or not. I don't know if I would have survived. I didn't calc it. If I would have survived, it might have made a difference, but whatever. At this point, I bring out Venusaur. I Seed Bomb. I didn't want to overpredict. He brings in the Dragonite. And, yeah, I don't know why I switched back to Blissey. The smart play, I don't know if this is my Venusaur. I don't remember if my Venusaur has Earthquake or Return. But the smart thing would have been just to use Growth and hit this thing with a Return. But, hindsight's 20/20. But he sets up a Dragon Dance. At this point, I'm like, crap. I need to put, and I go to my Swagsire, which is my physical wall. And even though it is unaware, that does about half, which means that this is adamant max attack. But I know 2 won't kill me, so I just recover off, and hopefully if he doesn't get a crit, I can just stall out Outrage. And yeah, so there goes Confusion, and I actually, I knew it was Yacht, but I need to get rid of it. That was probably a misplay. I probably should have just recovered until he hit himself in Confusion. But, I mean, he hits himself now, and I get up my health, which it was pretty bad hacks. If he KO'd me, I would have been in quite a position. Although I think Venusaur could have revenge killed it. At this point in time, he brings out the Float Soul. I'm expecting now for it to Rain Dance. So I'm just going to go for the EQ. since it probably wants to get rid of my son, because sun just cripples that thing. So I do that. He goes for the rain dance. I EQ, and works out perfectly. And now at this point, I'm pretty much just going in for Venusaur to sponge whatever it wants to use. Venusaur pretty much without sun is useless. So if it became death fodder, I mean, that's fine with me. I can just bring in something else. So at this point in time, he brings out the Dragonite. He makes a great play. I switch out Venusaur, bringing in Quagsire, and he pulls a double switch and brings out his Sawsbuck. I still don't know if it's Zoroark or not, but at this point, I don't really want to risk it. I just go to Venusaur's Death Fodder, and he goes for the Double Edge, which means this is, in fact, his Sawsbuck. And there we go. So I noticed that amount of health. So I bring in Starmie now. I just go for the Ice Beam because I know I'm faster, and he brings in Dragonite as Death Fodder to bring in whatever he wants. At this point, he knows Dragonite pretty much can't really do anything. And now he's bringing out his Sawsbuck, but I see it's at full health, which means this is his Zoroark. And as expected, he goes for the Sucker Punch, which would have KO'd. I know Night Days is coming, but there's a very specific reason why I stayed in. If it's Life Orb, if it's a mixed Life Orb set, I want to get some damage on this thing, because this way I can tell if it's a Zoroark or not. If it uses 2 attacks and then switches, I'm going to have a very difficult time remembering the specific amount of HP. But as you can see, now it uses 2 attacks, and his Zoroark's in the yellow. So now I definitely know that when his Zoroark comes back in, it's going to be at that amount of health. So he brings in his Xerxes, which is his Tabune. I don't know if that's the English name or not. And I just go for a Wish. That's the safest play. I know his Zoroark couldn't do anything. So then we just dual Toxic. I actually get the better exchange of that. I go back up to full health, and I have Natural Cure, and I'm very sure this thing does it. So unless it has Heal Bell, if it even could learn Heal Bell, that thing is pretty much just a sitting duck. So I go to Starmie because I know this thing really can't hurt me, and I do it to put him in a check position. It basically means he can't switch into either a Zoroark or a Sawsbuck, otherwise they'll die. And he'll have to stay in and take toxic damage. He thought this was a very weird play, but by my logic, he might think I'm choiced in some matter, but I actually have the Wise Glasses to fake a choice set. So I bring in Bliss now to get rid of my toxic, and he just goes for a return after he wishes up. At this point, I know he's going to bring in something else because Blissy's just like setup fodder. So I just go right back into Starmie as a double switch, and he goes back out into his Sawsbuck. And I know from that HP that it's his actual Sawsbuck, so I just go for the Ice Beam, and it just knocks it out, which is huge. Because now Blissey can just wall his pokes. So at this point, he brings out Xerxes. I just switch out, going back to... oh, I know this isn't his Xerxes because it's not poison, and it's at 50%. So this is his Zoroark again. So I bring out Uber Moth, basically just so I can rack up Life Orb damage. I'm not really expecting it to win, but I just go for the Quiver Dance. He gets 2 accuracy drops, which means even if I wanted to attack, it would just not do anything. At this point, I make a misplay. I should have used Morning Sun here because I could have just stalled him out, but I used Quiver Dance expecting a Sucker Punch, and he just goes for the Night Days. So, I mean, that was a good move on his part. He said he predicted I was going to predict Sucker Punch. But even then, just Morning Sun would have been the smarter play. But at this point in time, his Zoroark can't do anything to me, so I just bring out Bliss, and that's going to be the KO with Seismic Toss. And at this point, it's pretty much just good game. So I believe he runs after this turn. So, yeah, he definitely runs after this turn. So, good game, Darth. This was definitely my first good Wi-Fi battle. So yeah, guys, as you guys notice, also my video quality is a lot better. I got a new camera, which is just sick. So yeah, hopefully I'll have some more battles up for you guys. And yeah, if you ever want to battle, just hit me up. Peace.